It's your boy Trey TV, and I'm the best one doing reaction videos out right now. And if I ain't your favorite, I need to know why. With this video, we will be doing the violence backstory in one of the Rudest diss tracks, Abzsav Tables Turn, and I did hear a lot about this documentary. I also did hear a lot about the song 2.0, and I also heard a lot about this artist. I know about channels that got shut down for reacting to this artist. I also know about channels that received strikes for reacting to this artist. I guess it's my time to get strikes then, because it is what it is. I will be reacting to 2.0 and 3.0. If you didn't hit that like button, make sure you hit that like button. We're trying to get this channel to grow, and the only way we're going to do that is if you like, share, and comment on the content. So without further ado, let's get into this Abzsav, the Rudest diss track ever, the documentary. Let's go! Chi-Chi, get the yayo.
UK drill fans are going wild right now after a West London rapper called Abzsav dropped probably the rudest 3 songs to ever come out. In today's video, we are going into the backstory of these 3 diss tracks, which will clear up a lot about why they are so violent. Let's get into it.
Let's get it. I've been waiting on this one.
So if you're not up to date, like I said before, West London rapper Abzsav just dropped 3 of the rudest diss tracks that ever come out. So rude and disrespectful that it's even...
I didn't even know it was 3 songs. I just thought it was 2. That's nice to know, because I might do all 3 of them instead of just doing it 2. We'll see as the documentary goes on. If you give me more videos or other stuff I can that's connected to this, I will be reacting to that too. That's why I did this first, because I wanted to know which songs react to based off this documentary. I want stuff to link together and make sense and just group it all together. That's basically how I'm doing stuff on my channel right now.
Been opening the question of if dissing the dead should be illegal. Now I know a couple of you guys probably have not heard.
Should dissing the dead be illegal? That is a dumb question. Why should that be illegal? Especially in the United States, like that just sounded even crazy. Even hearing that, should that be illegal? Dissing the dead. You could do what you want. I'm pretty sure they're gonna try to. If they get a chance, they're gonna diss people on your side. It's just the way it is. It's all love and war. It's all fair in war and love.
Heard the songs, so I put them on the screen now, but we'll be breaking them down and going through the history behind all of this. So the rapper who dropped these tunes is a rapper called Abzsav, who's from an area called Norfolk at the edge of West London. And from the outside in, it doesn't look like the worst area, but Norfolk is home to Abzav's.
That looked like a good ass area, and that's kind of like remind me of Atlanta. You could be in Atlanta, like nice neighborhoods, but it really goes down there depending on what part you in, and that's crazy. They keep thinking like just because it's a nice area that it can't be bad. Just because the houses look nice don't got to do nothing to do with the people that's inside the house.
From the outside in, it doesn't look like the worst area, but Norfolk is home to Abzav's gang, N-Gang. N-Gang is also part of a bigger gang across the London borough of Ealing, which is a collective of members from towns in Ealing called Southall, Greenford, and of course Norfolk. The reason they're called 156 is because the areas covered in the gang are UB1, UB5, and UB6 postcodes. 156 beef quite a lot of West London, especially...
That make a lot of sense that they call 156. They all took a piece of each gang name and they put it together and make a whole name because they all are together now. That does make sense. I actually like the way they did that.
UB5 and UB6 postcodes. 156 beef quite a lot of West London, especially its surrounding areas, but they're mainly into it with a gang from Rayners Lane, which is a 7-minute drive from Norfolk where Abzsav is from. But 156 are...
Yo, that is mad close, and it remind me of Chicago. Like, Chicago be beefing like the next block over, and I'll be like, how can people be beefing that close? If you want to go to the corner store, you could walk into one of your ops, and I think that's crazy.
From Rayners Lane, which is a 7-minute drive from Norfolk where Abzsav is from. But 156 are better known for their feud with another gang from West London called CGM, which is infamously the gang of the big rapper Digga D. And despite the beef between Rayners Lane and 156 being more personal, most people are probably familiar with CGM and 156 issues, mainly just because CGM are much more well known than Rayners Lane, with CGM rapper Digga D hitting mainstream type of views on his songs, and other members like Rack 5 and Horrid 1 #1, hitting decent numbers as well. But a big reason to do with CG.
I never heard of none of these artists. If they got some heat, leave that in the comments. Even better, it's better if you use the link and make it easy for me to just click on it and go to the song, because I want to dig more into these artists and know what's really going on. And I know they putting inside the music.
CGM's blow up on the scene was actually to do with 156. CGM burst onto the scene around 2016 to 17 under their old group's name 1011, and they blew up faster than any other group at the time, gaining millions upon millions of views in some of their first songs as a group. But one of the main reasons for CGM's blow up was due to a murder which took place in the beef between Rayners Lane and 156. On April 11th, 2017, a 156 member called Whiz barely even just walked out of his Norfolk home.
Yo, that kid look young as hell. He look like he 13, 14 the most.
A 156 member called Whiz barely even just walked out of his Norfolk home until he was approached by two Rayners Lane members. Whiz was heard arguing with the two Rayners Lane members before he was stabbed in his stomach. The two attackers then fled the scene, and sadly Whiz died later that day. CGM blew up a lot on their early songs due to this death, with CGM mocking him in every song, making the name Whiz a well-known name in the UK just off his death. CGM even
that remind me of Tuka. I know everybody know who Tuka is in the UK. He from Chicago. He died around I want to say 14 years old. And a lot of these beefs be starting over a young kid dying, and then it sprawls out into beef, and it sounds like the same thing that happened over there. It's in the UK, and I'm glad I get to find this type of stuff out, because I didn't know it was basically starting over the same exact stuff over here, which started over there.
in the name Whiz, a well-known name in the UK just off his death. CGM even mocked Whiz so much that members were even banned from saying his name in any future songs. One of the killers of Whiz was a Rayners Lane member called T-Rose, and him and the other guy actually managed to beat the murder case.
Now, he look like a grown man. Like, the first boy like a kid. I know kids get it in like everybody else, but I look like a grown man. The other picture like a kid.
Rayners Lane member called T-Rose, and him and the other guy actually managed to beat the murder case due to self-defense. After beating the case, T-Rose...
How do two men beat a case with self-defense against one person unless he's not telling the full story? Can somebody tell me how that makes sense? Two people beat a case of self-defense against one person, or was it more? Was he instigating it? Let me know the backstory, because he's not really giving enough information with this documentary.
Guy actually managed to beat the murder case due to self-defense. After beating the case, T-Rose then went on to make a drill song about the murder, while also recreating the scene of the murder in the music video. And even while years went...
That's crazy. Just sitting here and listen to that, like, that's crazy. Tommy beat the murder case. A lot of time people just want clout out here. Of course, if you caught a body, you could get clout in this environment, in this climate, making a diss song, get your name through the roof. And that looked like that's what he did.
Murder, while also recreating the scene of the murder in the music video. And even while years went by after T-Wiz's murder, 156 members were still out to get him. T-Rose moved around 3 hours from...
Why wouldn't they still be out to get him? They killed a member of his gang. Not only did you do that, you went and made a song about it to make it seem like you was really that guy. Of course they would still be looking for you. You ain't just do it and, laid low. You did it and brag and boast about it. So if anything come to you, like, you almost wish it upon yourself by coming out and doing that for a little bit of clout, a little bit of YouTube views, and a little bit of females. It's never worth it.
T-Wiz's murder. 156 members were still out to get him. T-Rose moved around 3 hours from London to a small town called Telford. 156 caught wind of this.
See, that was smart. He tried to get out the way. Like, you can't be doing videos and running your mouth and then you move. It's like, it don't even make sense that you did all that making a video. I know you were talking crazy in the song, all disrespectful, and then you moved away. Like, I know the song was talking about you want the smoke, but when the smoke came for you, you try to move out 3 hours away. That's crazy.
This and rid out 3 hours to Telford, caught T-Rose and shot him to death 3 years after.
I mean, I'm sorry to say, but I already knew that was coming. I didn't want to talk about a documentary like I know what happened. It could be wrong, but I had a feeling like something was going to happen to him, because it's the same thing over here. that's happening over there. The same stuff, just different name and different faces. But pretty much when you do a song, you put a target on your back for the other ops, because you actually calling them pussy, this, that, and the third, because you're still walking. You making songs that they killed their man. You seeming like, and you making it seem like they don't put work in. They not about what they about. And of course they gotta come look for you. And of course they had to do what they had to do, because if not, it make them look some type of way. So they don't want to look some type of way. So they gonna do what they had to do. And plus they had to do what they had to do for their mans, like real rap.
And rid out 3 hours to Telford, caught T Rose and shot him to death 3 years after the murder of T Wiz. 2 hours before T Rose's death.
I said that in a video, like when you do dirt, you always gotta be prepared, because you might try to change your life, but the people you did the dirt to, they didn't change and they still want the same ish. So 3 years, 30 years, wherever they would have seen you at, it would have went down. Like that's just all part of the game.
Shot him to death 3 years after the murder of T Wiz. 2 hours before T Rose's death on the 13th of October. Back in London, another batch of 156 members were also driving around Hayes with a shotgun and revolver, looking for members of another rival gang to 156 called Purple Haze, when they spotted someone who allegedly had links to the gang called Shaq. The members in the car then proceeded.
Wrong place, wrong time. I don't know the story, I don't know what happened, but just what he's saying, like it goes down like that. Sometimes you just in the wrong place at the wrong time. That sounds exactly what happened here.
Spotted someone who allegedly had links to the gang called Shaq. The members in the car then proceeded to shoot Shaq multiple times with the revolver, sadly killing him on the scene. The car was then dumped, doused with petrol, and burnt a few miles away from the shooting. 5 people have been charged with this murder so far, including a 13-year-old boy, but are yet to go to trial. Abzsav mentions both T-Wiz.
Why is a 13-year-old in the car on that type of drill? I know they doing it younger and younger now, but that's crazy. Some stuff you just need to let the kids be kids. If you're going to pull a drill, let the 13-year-old, let him stay out of that one.
Including a 13-year-old boy, but are yet to go to trial. Abzsav mentions both T-Wiz and Shaq's murder in his Table Turns 1 song, saying 24 hours 2 got dropped. And even at the start of it,
it just is what it is. Like when a boy did the murder and started saying he made the song, he made the video, of course when the ops get you or it's on the other side, they're gonna make a song and do the same thing. That's why I say it's all love and war. It's all fair and love and war. Because like when people get the opportunity, they're gonna do the same thing to you. So I understand when you get the opportunity, you do the same thing that you already know they're gonna do if they get the chance.
his second diss track. He mocks T-Rose by pretending he's a skeleton. The reason for this was because a couple years back, CGM member Horrid One mocked T-Wiz by pretending he's a skeleton of him. See, a year before the double murder of Shaq and T-Rose,
that's what I said, because this is exactly what's going on here, so I already know what's going on over there. They're going to do the same thing to you. If you mock them, they're going to mock you back. If you talk about their mans, they're going to do it to you. If you on Instagram saying, yo, I'm smoking on da-da-da-da, time they pack you, they're going to be saying we smoking on da-da-da-da. It's just what goes along with it. I don't feel no type of way about it. It just is what it is. It's an eye for eye, a tooth for a tooth in these streets.
And he's a skeleton of him. See, a year before the double murder of Shaq and T-Rose, the tables are very much turned in this feud. Now, if you listen to CGM rapper Digga D's tunes, you'll probably hear or see him mentioning a guy called JoJo, or you might have seen him with a diamond JoJo engraved in it. Well, JoJo was a Rayners Lane member who was getting into it heavy with 156, so much that the feds had to relocate him more than an hour away from Rayners Lane to East London and Ilford to keep him out of trouble after he caught a couple cases. But unfortunately, this didn't stop him from getting into it with 156 members, which was clear on November the 18th, 2017. On this day, JoJo left his Ilford home, carrying a black motorcycle helmet at 4:45 PM, and got a train from Ilford to Norfolk, territory of the 156 gang. He then met up with 3 friends, and around 10 PM, with 2 mopeds and shanks, they started to circle around Norfolk looking for 156 members. Unfortunately, on some bad timing.
So you mean to tell me he moved away an hour to get away from that drama, and all he could do was find himself getting into more drama with the same people actually going to where they at? That's not smart, and it also shows who was guiding him? Like, he had no guidance. That's not smart at all. That makes zero sense.
To circle around Norfolk looking for 156 members. Unfortunately, on some bad timing, some affiliates of 156 just happened to grab some drinks from a shop and were heading back to their friend's house to enjoy their Saturday night. When they got to a road called Newnham Close in Norfolk, which was the same road their friend T-Wiz happened to be stabbed to death a few months back, JoJo and his friends spotted the group and jumped off their mopeds to try to catch up to them. The 156 group split up and started running for their lives. But what?
Never split up. Always stay together. You got more of a fighting chance together than you ever do one-on-one. Somebody's gonna get the bad end of that split up.
Once JoJo and his friends got back on their mopeds looking for the group, they managed to spot an 18-year-old called Jason Isaacs in a dead end separated from his group, which resulted with Jason being stabbed 8 times from a sword and machete.
I just said it. I've never seen this before. That's how it always happens when people split up. Someone's get caught, a wink link get caught, and that's crazy.
It's from his group, which resulted with Jason being stabbed 8 times from a sword and machete. Jason managed to get himself to a friend's house and eventually to a hospital, but a few days later, sadly, he was pronounced dead. The mopeds from the attack were dumped but later recovered by police, and once the forensic team investigated,
I already said that. I was just thinking in my head, dumb criminals, like, how did the knife get caught? You know, the knife is linked to the murder. First thing you do is get rid of the knife and not the way they did, because it's going to have your DNA on it, unless you got gloves or something, which is crazy. You could tell they're young boys, because that is a rookie mistake.
The attack were dumped but later recovered by police, and once the forensic team investigated them, JoJo's blood was discovered on one of the bikes. Not only that, but when the feds pulled up to JoJo's house, they recovered the same puffer jacket, hoodie and helmet which was shown on the CCTV from the attack. JoJo?
That's crazy. Another rookie mistake. If you're going to do a crime, if you know you did a crime, everything you had on in that crime must be thrown away. Shoes, hat, everything, because they're going to link that to the murder with the clothes that you had on and everything. So your lawyer can't really build a case against it. So the whole thing, when you do a crime, you got to make it where the lawyer can build a case against it. So you got to get away from all that. Less evidence they have, the better chance your lawyer will have of beating that case.
Was eventually charged with the murder, but the only issue was that there was 3 more people to catch. The evidence was crazy on JoJo, but the feds didn't want him just to go down for the murder. But
so basically, I already know what's about to happen. Basically, they about to throw him a sweet deal. We'll give you 5 years if you give us the other 3 people, or you could take this life sentence or possibility of death, and I'm pretty sure he's about to get them names up real quick.
JoJo refused to testify against his friends and ultimately was sentenced to life with a minimum of 20 years. Just like T-Wiz, Jay was heavy.
I'm glad I was wrong. I'm glad he stood tall on that. A lot of people don't when they facing that type of time. I knew they was going to try to throw him with life because they wanted to scare him. And even though he was facing life, yo, he stood tall. And that's what's up. You don't even see that out of grown men. This kid got to be like 16. Yo, shouts out to him, because a lot of people wouldn't have did that.
And ultimately was sentenced to life with a minimum of 20 years. Just like T-Wiz, Jay was heavily mocked in songs, mainly from Rayners Lane members, with no type of remorse for the 2 young lives which were lost. And
I like the fact that he know he got caught. He personally got caught because he messed up. There's no reason to drag other people into a situation where you fumbled the rock. They didn't fumble the rock. You personally fumbled the rock, and I'm glad he stood tall on that. And a lot of people wouldn't. They would have gave them up just to get the lesser time, because I know they gave him a sweet deal. When I said sweet deal, they gave him a sweet deal. And he still didn't fold under the pressure. He kept it real. He kept it gang. And shouts out to him. Shouts out to the real. The real is back. You heard?
Could tell mentally this really took a toll on Abzsav, who had just lost 2 of his friends. In the recent interview he just done with Fumes the Engineer, he talks about how people were dissing his friends for years. And back then, for a lot of people, it was all fun and games, without anyone realizing that certain guys actually lost a friend in real life. He goes on to say that the reason he called these diss tracks Tables Turn, because he was just replying to all the disses his gang has been getting for years. And when we actually look at the
that makes sense to call it Tables Turn, because a lot of times when people up on a score, they're gonna brag and they're gonna boast, but they don't think about the people on the other side, the family members, who you mentioned in the names, the moms, the brothers, the cousins, and how that's gonna feel. So if they get a turn to do the same thing to you, they're gonna take it. And I definitely understand now why this song is called Tables Turn. And I'm glad I did this documentary before I did the songs for stuff like that.
Because he was just replying to all the disses his gang has been getting for years. And when we actually look at the lyrics of his Tables Turn songs, you can see that a lot of disses actually go lyric to lyric with the same disses opposition gangs have said previously, but obviously just changed up to fit the agenda of his gang. But despite all of this, some people still think Abzsav went too overboard, talking about a lot of sensitive situations, like a CGM member called A.
Now they're gonna be like, yo, you took it too far. Like, we dissed y'all, we said da 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 da, but now you're taking it too far. Like, once you took it there, once it's up, and there is no taking it too far. Like, that makes zero sense. Once it's up, it's stuck. You heard?
Too overboard, talking about a lot of sensitive situations, like a CGM member called AP's mum dying. He then even goes into dissing big UK drill rapper Russ by pretty much saying CGM can't try what they done to Russ, with him dissing AP's mum. A bit of backstory on this: basically around 2 years ago, just like Abzsav, drill rapper Russ also dissed AP's mum in the group chat between Russ and CGM members. At the time, Russ was cool with CGM, mainly because his right hand, another drill rapper called Taze, is cousins with a couple CGM members. After dissing AP's mum, Russ had the show
killing that ish. Okay, that's what I like to see.
His cousins with a couple CGM members. After dissing AP's mum, Russ had the show, but after decided to go to CGM's block, thinking he's still cool with them. But the tables turned and CGM members robbed Russ for his chain. For a period of time, it seemed like 156 and Russ were cool though, with a 156 member called Nito MB, even featuring on the remix of Russ's hit single.
Shout out Nito and B. I reacted to like 2 of his songs already. I did his Daily W. It was alright, and he had a song out. I forgot what it's called, but it's definitely a banger. It got like 3 or 4 people in that song. Definitely a banger.
156 member called Nito MB, even featuring on the remix of Russ's hit single 630. But once the song came out, Nito started demanding all over his socials that he wants the song to be taken down, which it eventually was. But despite these CGM and Russ disses, it's clear that Rayners Lane was the biggest focal point on these songs, with countless disses towards them, mentioning situations like a double shooting on Rayners Lane members in 2018, or when 5 156 members ran into a kebab shop and shot at a couple Rayners Lane members in 2020.
What is a kebab shop? We don't got none of those over here. I never even heard of that. If you know, please leave in the comments for me.
156 members ran into a kebab shop and shot at a couple Rayners Lane members in 2020. But one of the most painful disses was on a situation that took place quite recently, on the 11th of June 2021. A 15-year-old Rayners Lane member who went by the name Jay Taps was on his way to school around 8:30 in the morning when he unfortunately bumped into a 156 member. In video footage, which is way too graphic to post on here, you can see the two get into a tussle, which ended with Jay Taps being stabbed multiple times and soaked in the blood of Paul in his own school clothes. This was literally broad daylight in front of herds of kids making their way towards school. After the stabbing, the kid ran away from the scene, with even builders who are working on the site nearby trying to catch up to the kid until the police came. A 156 member called Slims is currently awaiting trial for this murder, who was also only 15 and was making his...
I know this right here is an old documentary. I can't remember exactly when it came out. Did he go to trial? Cause somebody give me an update on this kid that they talking about right here. Like, what ended up happening with him in that trial, and did he face trial yet?
Slims is currently awaiting trial for this murder, who was also only 15 and was making his way to school. Which is crazy to think that this feud is running so deep that school kids from each side are turning on each other.
You can't even walk to school. That's just sound like I ain't thinking about it till you just was saying. That's like a real dangerous situation that you can't even walk to school because you might bump into your op. I know a lot of kids probably even stop going to school because of situations like that.
Abzav's second diss track, he even mocked Jay Taps for not making it to his 16th birthday, which is sad to know that somebody so young lost their life to this feud. Just before Jay Taps' death, he was seen in a couple pictures throwing up gang signs, and literally just a few days before his death, he was seen in the Rayners Lane music video called For Real, which would have made him a target for 156 members. Apart from Rayners Lane, Abzsav...
That's the thing about the drill rap. You get a lot of clout quick, but you become like the top op. Like, people get points off you once you get a name. So it's dangerous if you're a rapper with a name and you doing drill, because the other side is trying to cash in off of your name, and that makes it even more dangerous.
For Real, which would have made him a target for 156 members. Apart from Rayners Lane, Abzsav also takes a dig at pretty much half of West London. Areas like West Drayton, South Acton and Wildstone, who are all lesser known areas to have conflicts with 156, which really makes you deep how much beef 156 actually have. But I want to know what everybody thinks of these tracks. Do people think Abzsav went too far on these? Or do people think it's justified due to the previous mocking of his friends? And most importantly, do people think these tracks are even worth it? It's definitely got the whole community talking and hearing about Abzsav, which could work to his favour in his future career. But with the police taking down his songs, his YouTube channel and even his TikTok, he's probably gonna have trouble in the future making any songs without them being taken down, with the police pretty much having control of what is allowed to be put out there. These tracks also might get him blackballed from the industry, with a lot of labels and shows not really...
See, that makes sense when I was talking about a lot of channels. I know channels that got shut down, also know channels that caught strikes, and it's because they trying to get his music up out of here, which is crazy because it still made it to me, even though they did all that. And it's still, when I was looking on YouTube, you could see his videos is out there, his name is out there in the United States, and I thought that was crazy that he was going that hard that they try to remove all his music, and that's crazy.
These tracks also might get him blackballed from the industry, with a lot of labels and shows not really wanting to get involved with controversial artists, which can mess up their brand, which may even prevent other artists from wanting to work with him also. I do think Abzsav is...
I just seen him with the 3 JoJo shirt, and I know that means free JoJo. Can somebody please break it down to me and don't make it seem like I'm dumb or something? I just don't understand. Like, I know free is free JoJo. I know it stands for free, but how do 3 stand for free? Because free is 4 letters, FREE. So that's why I be confused. Can somebody please drop down in the comments? And please don't say I'm dumb for not knowing that.
The brand, which may even prevent other artists from wanting to work with him also. I do think Abzsav is a very talented artist, and if he plays his cards right, he could capitalize on the boost of clout he's now got. But if he doesn't, he's in danger of letting these tracks overshadow his career. It's been your boy Kid Nerd, and peace out. I've partnered up with Atlas VPN to give you a deal of a lifetime. Now, I'm sure most of you know what a VPN is, but for those that don't, it pretty much allows you to browse the internet.
It's your boy Trey TV. You know we got the streets. Let's get it.